Hello everyone. So today we got a news from Xiaomi, the Chinese big mobile manufacturer. And the news is that if you're using Xiaomi's Mi or Redmi smartphone, you should immediately stop using its built-in Mi browser or the Mint browser available on Google's Play Store. So this news is coming from the Hacker News. I'm going to bring up the news now. Okay, so you can see on the screen, that's the news from the Hacker News, and it talks about this vulnerability in the Xiaomi browsers. So both the web browsers created by Xiaomi are vulnerable to a critical vulnerability which has not yet been patched as of now, after being privately reported to the company. I just tested it a few minutes back, like 10 minutes back, and the vulnerability is still there. I installed the browser, Mint browser, on my Android phone, Samsung Android phone. So it's not a Xiaomi product, but still, if you are an Android user and you download the browser from the App Store, you can test this vulnerability. So the vulnerability is identified as CVE 2019-10875 and discovered by security researcher Arif Khan from India. That a browser address it's a browser address bar spoofing issue that originates because of a logical flaw in the browser's interface, allowing a malicious website to control URLs displayed in the address bar. So according to this researcher, affected browsers are not properly handling the Q query, Q in quotes, Q query parameter in the URLs, thus fail to display the portion of an HTTPS URL before the Q string in the address bar. It's shown here. I'm going to bring up. Okay, that's the one. That's the substring. And if you want to see the Twitter news from the Hacker News, that's the one explaining the same thing on my screen. And that's actually how it looks like. I'll explain it in a few seconds how it works. So the phishing attacks today are more sophisticated and increasingly more difficult to spot. And this URL spoofing vulnerability takes it to another level, allowing one to bypass basic indicators like URL and SSL, which are the first things a user checks to determine if it's a real or a fake site. The Hacker News has also tested this one, and that's the one you can see on my screen, the results from the Hacker News. The researchers also confirmed, the Hacker News, that the issue only affects the international variants of both the web browsers, Mi and Mint. And the domestic versions distributed by Xiaomi smartphones in China do not contain this vulnerability. So that's a bit suspicious to me. Like, why Xiaomi would put a vulnerable browser only for international users but not for internal users, China? I'm always suspicious of these Chinese products, so be careful if you're using any Chinese products. It's not just about Xiaomi. Okay, and as per the researcher, are Chinese device manufacturers intentionally making their OS applications and firmware vulnerable for their international users? This is a big issue, because if in case China goes into a war with America or India or other big countries, then they can control a lot of devices manufactured by China, example Xiaomi phones, by these vulnerabilities which are open. So another interesting though weird thing is that upon requesting the issue, Xiaomi rewarded the researcher with a bug bounty, but left the vulnerability unpatched. As per the researcher, the vulnerability impacts millions of users globally, yet the bounty offered as such was $99 for Mi browser and $99 for Mint browser, which is pretty small amount for such a big vulnerability. I don't know why this big company just paying such a small amount for such big vulnerabilities. As per our advice, Android users are highly recommended to use modern web browsers that are not affected by this vulnerability, such as Chrome or Firefox. So how this vulnerability works, I'm just going to explain a quick with a quick example. Maybe I can bring up the video which is showing this vulnerability. So this is a video not made by me, by another YouTuber. But you can see actually how this vulnerability works on this this browser. So this is a phone by the by the YouTuber. And if I just play it, he's opening the browser, and then he or she, and then he's typing Paytm, which is an Indian website for making payments to the vendors. Okay, so he goes to paytm.com, and then he adds the Q parameter. Yes, Q equal to, I believe it put Google or Facebook or YouTube.com. Okay, and then if he clicks, it should show, it will show Paytm website only instead of showing the YouTube.com, but the link will show YouTube.com. That's the crazy thing. So you can see it's showing YouTube.com, but actually the page is the first part before the Q parameter. So in this case, a hacker can actually just display youtube.com or facebook.com, but the first part of the URL, the hacker could have a suspicious, malicious URL, which may look like YouTube, which may look like Facebook, but the second part says YouTube or Facebook, and the users will still see the fake website, but they will trust it and put the user ID and password, and the hacker could have the user ID information or the password information, credentials. If you want to read the whole research by this researcher, you can go to his website, andmp.com, and that's the research with more details about this this vulnerability, and also the POC made by the researcher. Okay, so that's pretty much for the news. For this news, we'll see you again. Please don't forget to subscribe or like the video if you actually like it, so that I can continue to make more such security videos. Thank you, everyone.